Good afternoon, everybody. It is reading time with Ross, and today we are reading Red Riding Hood. Wonder why they called her Little Red Riding Hood. The beginning of our story. A long time ago, in a simple cottage beside the deep, dark woods, there lived a pretty child called Red Riding Hood. She was kind and considerate, and everybody loved her. Notice she has cats on her roof. One afternoon, Red Riding Hood's mother called to her. Granny isn't feeling up to snuff today, she said, so I baked her favorite custard as a little surprise. Be a good girl and take it to her, will you? Red Riding Hood was delighted. She loved going to Granny's, even though it meant she would have to cross the deep, dark woods. When the custard had cooled, Red Riding Hood's mother wrapped it up and put it in a basket. Now, whatever you do, she said, go straight to Granny's. Do not tarry, do not speak to any strangers. Yes, Mama, smiled Red Riding Hood. Who knows what tarry means? Before long, she was in the deepest part of the deep, dark woods. Ooh, she said, this is scary. Suddenly, a large wolf appeared. Good afternoon, my dear, he said. Come to stop for a little chat? Oh, gracious me, said Red Riding Hood. Mama said not to speak to any strangers. But the wolf had such charming manners. And where are you going, sweet thing? He asked. I'm on my way to visit Granny, who lives up in the pretty yellow house on the other side of the woods, said Red Riding Hood. She's feeling poorly, and I'm taking her a surprise. You don't say, said the wolf. Just then he had a delightful idea. No reason why I can't eat them both, he thought. Allow me to escort you, he said. You never know what might be lurking about. You're too kind, said Riding Hood. Beyond the forest, they came to a patch of sunflowers. Why not pick a few, suggested the wolf. Grannies all love flowers, you know. But while Red Riding Hood was picking a pretty bouquet, the clever wolf hurried on ahead to Granny's house. What do you think clever means? Who is it? Called out Granny. It is I, your delicious, darling granddaughter, said the wolf in a high voice. The door is unlocked, said Granny. Surprise! Cried the wolf. Granny was furious at having her reading interrupted. Get out of here, you horrid thing, she cried. Who knows what furious means? But the wolf gobbled her right up. He didn't even bother to chew. Tasty, he said, patting his belly. So tasty. Just then he heard footsteps on the garden path. Here comes my dessert. And losing no time, he put on Granny's cap and her glasses, and he jumped into her bed, and he pulled the covers up. Who is it? He called out in his sweetest Granny voice. It is I, your little granddaughter, said Red Riding Hood. The door is unlocked, said the wolf. Red Riding Hood was distressed at seeing her grandmother so changed. Why, Granny, she said, what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear, said the wolf. And, Granny, What long arms you have! The better to hug you with, my dear, said the wolf. And Granny, what big teeth you have! Uh-oh, something's gonna happen. The better to eat you with, my dear, cried the wolf. Oh, no. And he gobbled her right up. I'm so wicked, he said. She was so delicious. He didn't even chew her. He swallowed her whole. Because he'd had such a heavy meal, he began snoring, sleeping soundly, and a passing hunter was alarmed by the racket he had heard previously. That doesn't sound like Granny, he said, sleeping. And so the brave hunter jumped in the window, killed the wolf, cut him open, and out jumped Granny and Red Riding Hood. We're ever so grateful, said Red Riding Hood. That wicked wolf, he won't trouble you again, said the hunter. It was so dark in there, I couldn't read a word, said Granny. Red Riding Hood promised never, ever to speak to another stranger, charming manners or not. And she never did. Okay, my boys and girls, if you want a challenge to this story, you can get a sheet of notebook paper and you can change one story element and tell me, what do you think would happen with the change of just one story element? Have a great day, guys.